I can be famous like John. It's like, because he's watched all of my videos, and the only reason people are going to watch videos, people are not going to accept a stock video anymore. It has to be you. You can't be just sitting behind a desk like, hi, you can't do that. It's not going to happen. They need something that is, I know authentic is overly used, but like being real, being authentic, all those things are real. That's a true thing. People or humans understand what a real video is, and I think that you do a really good job of bringing that out.
Well, thank you. And like you kind of to touch on that, most people aren't naturally gifted and like great on camera. Even like, differentiating from public speakers, some public speakers don't really like being on camera and vice versa. But being able to uh, develop a level of comfort with being on camera and I do enjoy that process, because I'm not working with actors all the time. When we do TV spots and shoots like that, yeah, we'll hire professional actors to read scripts and all those things and play a role per se. But most of the time, the clients, they're the business owners or a team member is going to be on camera. And so I'm used to working with it, and I enjoy that process of getting them comfortable and helping. It's like, look, if you do this, if you do that, think about this. Just simple things of like how you stand and what to do with your hands. They're all easy things to learn, but to your point, what is so critical, I think, for especially small, medium-sized businesses is to personify that brand, to personify that logo. It's like, hey, there's real people. There's a real person who's investing their energy, time, and effort into their company and to grow their business. And I can see them. I can get to know them to a little degree, versus an actor or somebody like that. You want to buy from most people want to buy from small business, and that's what the vast majority of roofers are, is a small, medium-sized business, and getting to know that owner, that salesperson, that manager, it makes a big difference. Like you kind of like, I kind of know this person. Um, and I think of this commercial that I have a client that is they're in the design world, furniture world. And Johnny, were you in Atlanta the whole time? You from Atlanta?
AJ?
Oh, yeah, I've been in Atlanta. I was in Athens, went to UGA, and
Yeah.
then I moved to. Well, I'm from Atlanta originally, and then I moved back to Atlanta. I want to say it was 2018, 2019. So about the same time that you went into freelancing, I jumped back to Atlanta.
Well, there's this commercial, and John, you might be old enough to remember if you're from Atlanta, but there was this furniture gallery furniture. It was like Ask the Wolfman, and you had a Wolfman and Donna, and they were like the owners of the
Yeah.
store, and it was silly, cheesy commercials, but that was kind of like one of those commercials that people like, hey, I'm Gallery Furniture is a store, it's a brand, but come ask Donna, ask for the Wolfman. But that was
Yep.
all their commercials. And even to this day, people were like, from Atlanta, like nobody forgets Ask the Wolfman. And I mean, that those commercials are 40 years old, 30, 40 years old. So just going back to personifying a brand, a company, and seeing a person that has
Yeah.
poured themselves into that business
Yep.
is effective.
Yeah, I think this is a really, really interesting and I think powerful point. Like you're saying, people want to buy from small business.
Yeah.
And because of that, you, as a small business, it's important for you to provide a small business experience. That doesn't mean a bad experience, but it means
Yeah.
a great experience that's unique and personal and has that human connection. And we see this all the time with companies that are using Proline or small businesses in general. But I see this with a lot of our clients where it's usually the ones that are just getting started. They think that they need to project an image of being this massive company. And when I see that, I was like, hey, I get that. I get why you're feeling that you need to do that, because they want things like, all generic emails and all generic phone numbers, and they want everything to be this like white wall between them and the customer. And I'm like, I understand why you would think that's necessary, because you're seeing massive companies that have that, but that's not a benefit to the customer, and that's not going to help you sell. That the only reason these big companies look like that is because that's the only way to run a big company like that. It's too big to be able to have the personal connection. It's
Right.
not that that's the right way to run a business. It's actually massively detrimental. If there was a way for those massive companies to have that personal connection still at scale, they would, because it's so valuable and leads to so much uh, more sales than you otherwise would. So I think that's a really great point that you're making, is like, as a small business, and I think we need to make sure we define small business correctly. I would consider any local business that's probably less than, I don't know, what would you say, John? 50 million, 30
I mean,
million?
the SBA says less than 50 million.
50
but-
million. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like,
but-
we're using a very broad, like,
Yeah.
small
That's
business definition here. I
Yeah.
think you should be leaning into providing that small business experience, not trying to get away from it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that is a pretty wide range from 1 million or 50 million. It's like that's that's like, I kind of think that, like, I view like these small businesses are like that under $10 million mark. For me,
Yeah.
it's like, guys, it's under $10 million, and I kind of know what kind of marketing budget they have. And then you go above that, then it's like it scales tremendously, what they're putting in. But being able to just invest in however you can, investing into your brand and you as an individual is so critical. It really makes such a big difference to have that connection with your client. I can't preach that enough. I always preach that to my clients. If you were comfortable enough, get on camera. Even like, and John's such a great example of it. I mean, you've really poured yourself into that effort to do it. I see it on the YouTube shorts and the social media that you're like, hey, this is me, this is my family, this is my life, it's my brand, all those things. And so you're a really good example of not being comfortable. And AJ, he may have just been really terrible when he was working with you, because he was terrible when I started working with him.
It's true.
But you had him for a couple of years, so God bless you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all true.
I'm going to say that you're better at it than me. I think that's why you're still in the business.
Well, he's my toughest lesson. He was my toughest client. I looked at him as I used him
The
with all my other
project,
clients.
as an
Other references
example.
like, listen, I got this roofer guy. He's the worst,
He's-
and you're better than him. So that's
Just
always
feel better
makes
you're
them feel
not
better.
that guy. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm trying to build them up while bringing you down.
And then you actually keep my videos on your phone so you can just show them how bad I am.
Oh
And then
yeah.
you're like, yeah, here you go. See this? Don't do this.
Hey, watch how many times he blinks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
he didn't
doesn't blink.
He didn't blink once? No. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Like, hey, John, blink. It's like, oh, yeah.
Literally yesterday, I was shooting videos for Proline and I was like, a blink, dang it. I wasn't blinking at all. I was like, oh, well, Jesse's right. I don't blink.
No.
Is it just, I think it's just a you being on video thing, isn't it?
I mean,
not
I
how
think
you are normally. It
Yeah.
switches. Yeah.
but that is the exact, what you're saying right now is exactly why you need to work with somebody like Jesse, because you have to get to the point where you're comfortable. And after all that work, literally thousands of hours now of doing this, I'm still not perfectly comfortable. That just shows you there's no excuse. Whether you are starting out and you have barely any budget, you need to do something, because it's not going to get any easier. You've got to put yourself out there. I'm not comfortable, like Jesse's saying. I'm not great, but I know it's really important, and it actually works. It sells jobs, like it did last week. It does all the time. If you keep doing it consistently and you have something of value, You just talk about something that you know customers always ask you. It's going to work. You need to make sure that it consistently gets to customers. Like the video has to get to them. But it does actually work. It is important. It does help your business actually grow and build trust. They want to know, like, and trust you. And the video does that as long as you do it consistently and do it well.